Thank you so much, everyone, for staying with us. Let's get back to the conversation. It's about how to get this country on track, and also for Nigerians to get the dividends of democracy. Well, you hear that a lot of the times from politicians. So if the essence of being in power is to make lives of citizens better, secure them, then we must also ask the right questions to get those who want power in line. So tonight, we were having a conversation about policy, governance, and of course, the ambition of the APGA presidential candidate who emerged only yesterday. He's a former Chief Judge of Anambra State. Professor Peter Umeadi is a professor of law at the University of Nigeria, who joined the party following his retirement as the Chief Judge of Anambra State in March 2019, and he's live with us right here in our studio. Thank you so much, Prof, for coming tonight.
Thank you very much.
There seems to be a lot of professors in the race.
Yes, suddenly.
Out of your party and other political parties.
Yes, just like you have a lot of professors conducting the election itself.
So it's a professor's thing.
Right now, yes.
So, I mean, it's good to have intellectuals, because we cannot have, and I use these words advisedly, charlatans, those who know nothing, to run the affairs of this country. We must get things seriously, you know. When we come as low as saying, it doesn't matter, I just have the minimums, the barest minimum requirement. And sometimes people applaud those who have reached the highest levels in their career, in private life, or even in academics, come into politics to play a role. Now, for you, what was the inspiration? Why do you want to leave all of those things that you have done as those whom is being bowed to in the courtroom, and as a professor of law, now you want to be in politics?
Yes, thank you very much. Like you said, yes, it's good to have the big titles and come into the polity to help redefine Nigeria. But it's not just the title alone. All of us with the big titles will have to live up to the billing. That is the first point I'm making. And then I hope we'll live up to the billing by delivering wherever we find ourselves, even, you know, with the titles that we have. Well, yeah, I had an interview sometime with this day, and these questions came up, part of it. I said, well, it's you've been a judge, you've been a chief judge, and suddenly you're in the classroom. It's no longer about your magisterial position now. You're teaching. Your job is to make sure that the child, the student before you, understands what you are saying. And of course, you have to be abreast with what you're saying, because you cannot teach a man anything that you do not understand. So, well, that is one part of it. The other part of it is that also, when you are retired, you're not advised to go and sleep on your couch. They tell you that your brains die, and then you die too. So you have to get something to keep you working on. Of course, that's why I went to the classroom when I left the judiciary. But then the next thing to do is to join the polity in a way where I can be helpful. And here I am. I'm the candidate of a political party.
What kind of help do you think you can be of to Nigeria?
Reposition Nigeria in 4 years, if I'm elected.
How do you hope to do that?
Well, principally, and that is very interesting. Principally, if I'm elected as president, I will remove my personal interest from the picture entirely.
How does, I mean, what exactly do you mean by that?
Yes, that means if you're president today, you're not going to predict exactly what is going to come in the file on your table on the first day you get there, not even the second or third day. Everything you're talking about is conjecture. The most important thing will be the mindset with which you come to the office, how you want to tackle the problems that you see on the table, not what you have put up all in your mind about how they are. You come there, they're different. So that is it. So if you come in and then you want to ask questions on every file that is put before you, as the man walking on the seat of the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Then you ask questions and you get satisfied with whatever they do on every line, and then you get on, and then you get a better result.
You said you're the hope of Igbo presidency.
Did I say that?
You were quoted as saying so.
Oh, well, you know, that is the point. With due respect, if it is at this time, if it was yesterday, you could go and refer to my speech, because I made a speech and I didn't say anything other than that. I don't want people putting words into my mouth.
But do you think you are the hope of Igbo presidency?
No, I'm not talking about Igbo presidency per se. What I have said over time, and what I can repeat here, is this: that I am as qualified as any other person to be the president of Nigeria, be it in APGA or any other political party. That's what I have always said. So,
do you think that APGA is that platform that can make you achieve that aspiration?
Oh, yeah, in terms of that question, you can split them. In terms of that, yes. Because don't forget, APGA is a very organized political party. APGA has 37 chairmen in the 36 states and the FCT. And down the line, they have local government apparatus, down to the wards, and they're very committed.
But it's being perceived as a regional party.
Well, yes, that is not to be denied, because that's not to be denied, but it's a misconception in terms of how APGA is arranged.
So the question is, if your party has a structure to win a national election, if it's perceived as a regional party, what is the hope of winning a national election?
Yeah, there you come again to what has been said perhaps on this studio many times over again, and what may come up before I end. It's about free and fair elections. That's it. Because if you allow, first of all, there's been apathy. People have been, too slow, because they're in coming up to vote, because they say, well, it's going to be the same results like it's been before, etc., etc. But now with the gadgets that are being brought in, with the new Electoral Act 2022 as amended, more people are going to come in and vote. And then it is after an election cycle that you determine who has the preponderance of votes and who has control of where, not before. So in other words, these things shift at every election. So to your question, where we are looking at is with the situation as they are on the ground today, and if the elections are free and fair, everybody will see that APGA will return a good and surprising result.
You've used a word at almost every instance that you have opportunity to speak about your ambition, the word reposition.
Yes.
Yesterday you said it. Yes. In your past speeches you said it.
Yes.
That you want to reposition Nigeria. And I'd like to ask the right questions. In what area do you want to reposition? Because you said it, that in 4 years you will reposition Nigeria. How do you want to do that?
That comes back to where we started. Because there are a lot of things to do about a country. But if you set an example of how you want to lead, because it's all about leadership, and it's all about removing yourself from the picture. And if you're, I'll give you an example. I've been in the judiciary. I've been a chief judge of a high court in the state for 8 years. Now, you have a messenger out there who moves files. And if you get a file that is not properly done to the messenger, he looks at it and says, I'm not the one who's going to take this file here, because all the trouble is going to rain on me. Go find how you can get it in there. Because he knows who he's working with, if you get my point. So if you now, as a leader of a country like Nigeria, which has not been run the way it should be run, so the first thing you're going to do is position yourself in such a way that everybody who is working with you knows that this president who has come is different from the presidents we've had before.
So I'd like to ask direct questions. You've given me a general perspective to these, more or less something that is that a lot of people might be looking forward to hear out. I mean, direct and giving sector by sector solution to the problem. But you've been in the judiciary for the better part of your life. I mean, the most part of your career as a lawyer and as a judge. Now, the question is, if I ask you, not only in the judiciary, what do you think is the major problem or challenge of this country? What would you say?
I would say, put it in this way, they will have to embrace the rule of law. That will surprise you. They will have to.
You're talking about what that's why I'm asking about the problem of Nigeria.
Right. That's exactly the problem. Because that's why I put it this way. They have not embraced the rule of law.
So we are operating in a lawless society.
Almost, and they have not embraced separation of powers, and they have not done much about due process. And in between all that, you see the trouble we've been going about financial autonomy, because you see. Permit me to say, in America, for instance, what you have and the terminology is about co-equal arms of government. And that is the checks and balance that you're talking about. That is how to run a polity. So if the judiciary is sufficient constitutionally and financially, they are better able to check your excesses. These are the main problems.
So we have a structural problem that goes down into our constitution.
Of course we do.
So what would you do to that?
That's it. That's exactly what I'm saying. I'm running on a triple banner of rule of law. I can say it as many times as I have the opportunity. Rule of law, separation of powers, and due process. And if you listen
and that will fix our problem in this country.
Oh, it will. If you listen to my...
And including the problem of security and that of economy. Because I'd like to touch on those one quickly.
Yes.
And how rule of law can fix economy problem.
Yes, because like I said in my interview with NTA the other time, we treat these salient things with kid gloves. The rule of law entails taking it down to the end. No sacred cows. That's the rule of law.
So you'll be firm on the issue of corruption?
Firm, yeah, very firm. Nobody's above the law. Like I said, even the judge who is running the judiciary is also bound by the rule of law.
So, I mean, is it true? I mean, you being in the bench for several years, is it true that the judiciary is dirty?
It's not as clean. It may not be as clean as it should be.
But what is its state? As you left it?
Is that not enough for me to come in? That's my constituency. It's not as clean as it should be.
So you wish to clean that up too?
Not just that, everywhere else.
Okay, so I'd like to ask you, because I would love to go into security, economy, and other areas. I mean, we still have a lot of time. You have about 9 months for campaign, so we have time to do that. But specifically on the issue of the IPOB agitation, the case of Nnamdi Kanu is in court. And in my last issue, you'll be president, I mean, be elected president of Nigeria. You might even get into when you come into power. Would you consider political solution? Or how would you address the issue of IPOB agitation and Nnamdi Kanu?
I will consider a political situation.
To releasing him?
Well, that is it. You don't just, when you consider a political situation, you don't just release him. You have to put everything into place. After all, we had the issue of amnesty. And you know how much Nigeria spent on amnesty. You will agree with me that's a political solution.
So you do that to IPOB situation in the southeast?
We'll fashion something that is akin to that fits it.
All right. Yeah. Professor Peter Umeadi, a former Chief Judge of Anambra State and a Professor of Law. Thank you so much, of course, the presidential candidate of APGA. Thank you so much indeed for coming tonight, Prof.
Thank you very much.
I mean, Lord.
Thank
you so much, appreciate it. And that's our show for today. Thank you so much.
Again.
That's our show for today, everyone. Many thanks for watching. I'm sure Kimale. Bye for now.